Hey guys, this is Leah with Scott Leroy Marketing. In today's tip video, I want to talk about how your details, your contact information syncs over to DocuSign and autofills onto your form. So I'm going to show you specifically the sync transaction button within your opportunity and how that will all work together between Command and DocuSign to autofill your forms. So if you have not already, you'll want to go ahead and create your opportunity, okay, because anytime you start a transaction in Command, you will always want to start by creating that opportunity. So you can then go to the Documents tab of the opportunity to click Start a Transaction to go to your DocuSign room to create that. And I'll be showing you that in just a moment here. However, if you're not already, if you could just open an opportunity, if you would like to follow along, you can also watch on my screen. But once you open an opportunity, that will pull up the Opportunity Details tab. And on this tab, a lot of the information is filled in already from when you initially create the opportunity. And any information in this Details tab of the opportunity will automatically autofill into DocuSign when you create your DocuSign room. So just a heads up for listing opportunities, you will have one extra feature as opposed to buyer opportunities do not have this. Let me take this one off. So you'll notice on the very top, if you are working with a listing opportunity, you have the option to select from listings. And this information will search the KWLS 2.0, which those listings will pull directly from your MLS. So as long as the listing's live on the MLS, it'll pull over to the KWLS 2.0, which is where you'll be selecting from listings. I just also want you to pay attention to this box right here, the property box. Since that's blank right now, you'll see that that will autofill the information from the select from listings on the top. So if I click on that, it will take me to only my listings first. So if you're seeing that here, you can go ahead and select from your listings. If you're not seeing your listing under there, let's check under all listings, okay? Because a lot of times the listing will pull over. It just takes some time to get under only my listings. So let's switch that drop down to all listings instead. You can search by the street address or MLS number. I find the MLS number is sometimes easier, directly gets it there because this will show all listings across the entire country. So there's quite a bit in here. Once you search for your property, you can scroll down and go ahead and select the property if you're seeing that from that list. And that will link up the property to the opportunity. So I can see that address and it will pull in a bunch of property information from the MLS directly. Now I'll actually pull up a little sheet that shows you guys what is autofilling from the MLS and what pulls from where in just a second here. All right, if not, so if this is not a listing opportunity or if you're for any reason having any trouble finding the address in the KWLS 2.0, like in the case that it's new construction, not in the MLS, you can just manually enter in the property info by clicking on the pencil icon on the very top right of any of these boxes here. And that should allow you to manually put in the street address and click Save. All right, so once you do that, so once you have the property information updated, you can click on the Documents tab. And if you have not yet created a transaction in DocuSign, it will still say Start a Transaction on the far right. If you've already created your DocuSign room, it'll say Go to Transaction. So whatever the case may be, you can click on Start a Transaction or Go to Transaction and select the DocuSign option if you do have two options. Okay, I just have that option because I have both DocuSign and .loop linked up. If you only have DocuSign linked up to Command, that should take you right to DocuSign. Now you might be prompted to log into your DocuSign account at this time. They'll typically have you log in once per day for security reasons on your computer. But what I want to show you guys is now that I created the DocuSign room from my opportunity, it does pull over the name of the opportunity, as well as if I click on the Details tab of the opportunity, right, I'm sorry, the Details tab of the DocuSign room. I was going to tell you guys there is a Details tab of your DocuSign room and a Details tab of your opportunity, which we were just in. So there will be a Details tab in both. And in this Details tab, this should have all the information that was in your Command opportunity automatically pulled over. Items that pull over are your client's information. So your clients are entered into command, so their contact information will pull over on the right-hand side. You should have the property address pull over as well. Okay, if you keep scrolling down, you'll see your brokerage information as well on the right-hand side. So it will pull your contact information into the property details as well on the right-hand side. So it will autofill. I'm going to check on the address because I'm not seeing that came over. So we'll have to check on that one. So let's go to the Documents tab. I do want to show you how this information will autofill onto a form. So I'm just going to pull in a form real quick. Okay, so this tip video is not on how to access your forms. So if you have any trouble accessing your forms in DocuSign, I will put a little link in the description of this YouTube video that gives you steps on how to access your forms in DocuSign. Okay, but I just wanted to pull in a form real quick so I could show you that once I open it, it will autofill all that information onto the form itself. All right, so I see right here my client's information pulled over, the brokerage name pulled over. I'm still not seeing the property info, so I'll get back to you guys on that one. It should automatically pull over the property details as well, the address. That might be an issue going on. But I just want to show you all of your brokerage information will autofill, as well as your client's contact information. Any property info should autofill onto every form that you pull into DocuSign. Now let's just say you have the issue I'm running into where the property address isn't autofilling. What's cool in DocuSign, if I were to go ahead and put in the property information right here, like the property address, let's just say, 123 Commissions Drive. So if I put in all this property information, this will autofill back into the DocuSign details to then autofill the property address correctly onto all future forms. So really, I mean, yes, it should have automatically pulled over. However, just entering it in one time here on a form, since you'll notice that if you hover over any one of these fields, you'll see where it's linked to, right? So I can see that this field is linked to the property address field in the DocuSign room details section. So I can always see where that is linked to, where that's autofilling or pulling from simply by hovering over the field itself, and it'll tell me where that's mapped to in the DocuSign details. So since I added the address manually here, once I click Save and Close on the top right, if I pop back over to the Details tab of the DocuSign room, I'll see that address has updated in there, and now any future forms I pull into this DocuSign room, this specific DocuSign room, will automatically autofill this address. So you can see how it works back and forth between your forms and the opportunity details to autofill. That will work back and forth, which is pretty cool. Now the next thing I want to show you guys is actually about the sync transaction button, which we haven't come to yet. All right, so I'm going to switch back to the Command Documents tab. Right, that's most likely in a separate tab for you. So the Command Documents and the DocuSign would be in two separate tabs. You can see the KW logo. The DocuSign logo has the yellow icon with a down arrow on the tab. All right, so from here, so I'm in the Documents tab of my opportunity. And I'll now notice the Sync Transaction button on the right-hand side. Now this button was not here when I initially started the transaction. You're not crazy. It wasn't there. All right, but what the Sync Transaction will do is, let's say you made some updates to the details of the opportunity. Let's say your contact information for your client has updated. They got a new email or whatever the case may be, their new phone number. All right, if you were to update anything in the details section, which this really comes into handy. For example, if you start a opportunity for a buyer, typically you don't know the address right out the gate for the buyer. So you can always add the property information back to the opportunity, or any information that you go to update here. Just a heads up. You go to the Documents tab and click Sync Transaction. That will update the information in the room details. Okay, so again, if you click Sync Transaction, that will push any updates you did in the Command Opportunity details over to autofill into the DocuSign details section, autofill on all your forms moving forward. So just a heads up, I did click update and I'll get that green confirmation, but just a heads up that will overwrite any information that you have in your DocuSign details. So if you had different information entered in your DocuSign details that you had in your command details, when you click sync transaction, that will overwrite any information, conflicting information in the DocuSign details. So the command details when you click start transaction. And also just one more thing to keep in mind, this does not work both ways. So the DocuSign details do not sync over to the command opportunity details yet, at least. So that will only work one way, the command details pushing over to the DocuSign room details. All right, and if you have any question on how that works further, feel free to shoot me an email, support@scottleroymarketing.com. You can put attention, my name, which is Leah. I just want to show you one more thing. I actually want to see if that clicking sync transaction updated the property address. So I'm going to come back to the details and just check for my own curiosity. And I also want to show you guys how, let's see. All right, the address is not updating here from the property address. I'm not sure if that's down because that definitely was working previously, or if it's just a right now thing. All right, but again, if you're noticing the address doesn't pull over, you can just type it in on a form and it'll update that pretty quickly. The last thing I do want to show you guys is just the answers article as far as what autofills from where. So I'm going to pull this over from my other screen here, and where this resource is one of my favorite resources KWRI provides. It is answers.kw.com. So just the part I have highlighted. Answers.kw.com is pretty much written instructions on most every feature that KW provides. They work on launching new articles all the time. Like this one was just updated 8 days ago, so it's very well maintained for direct answers that you have questions on in command. So if you want to pull this one up, you can search answers.kw.com by sync opportunity details. That'll probably do it. So you can just search that on answers.kw.com. And it'll say a lot of the stuff that I went over today, but what I really like on this page is the graph right here that tells you where each information pulls from when syncing to your DocuSign room. So you can see all your contact information as the agent. That will pull from the KW White Pages profile. You'll see the opportunity attached listing, right? That listing that we linked up. You'll see all the items that should pull over, including the listing address. And the opportunity offer details, right? You'll see what will pull over here as well, right? The client's information and so forth. Okay, so again, if you want to pull this up on answers.kw.com to bookmark this or save it, I would just go to answers.kw.com and click sync opportunity details, and it should pull that right up and you can save it. If you have any questions on this, please do not hesitate to reach out, support@scottleroymarketing.com. All right, guys, I hope this helped, and let us know if we can help further. Take care.